All right, let's dive into some growth stocks.
Yeah, always exciting.
Those companies that could potentially just skyrocket in value.
Yeah.
So we're going to be looking at this article from the Motley Fool, published on February 9th, 2025.
Okay.
And they highlighted two red-hot contenders, they call them, for 2025. And those are Robinhood Markets, Hood, and Meta Platforms.
Meta.
Better known as Meta, yeah.
And it's interesting, they present quite a contrast.
Yeah.
Robinhood is pretty new, kind of a disruptor in the financial world,
Right.
while Meta's this giant, but still showing really impressive growth.
Yeah, you'd think they'd be hitting a ceiling by now.
For sure.
But before we get into the specifics of each company, let's kind of take a look at the overall market landscape they're describing.
Yeah, they paint a picture of a market that's off to a pretty solid start in 2025.
Okay.
The S&P 500 is up 3.2%.
Okay.
Nasdaq Composite gained 2%, and the Dow is leading the pack with a 5.6% increase.
So generally positive, but that doesn't mean all stocks are created equal.
Right, exactly.
And Robinhood's performance definitely stands out. I mean, their shares are up a staggering 42% year to date.
Wow.
And get this, 387% over the past 12 months.
That's impressive.
Yeah.
And it's important to understand what they're doing.
Yeah.
Robinhood operates this brokerage platform.
Okay.
Makes it really easy for anyone to trade stocks, ETFs, crypto, commodities, everything.
Yeah.
They've really streamlined the process, especially for new investors.
It seems like they've really resonated with the younger investors who are, really tech savvy and eager to kind of take control of their finances.
Absolutely.
But these gains, I mean, it makes you wonder what's driving this growth.
For sure.
And more importantly, can they sustain it?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Right.
Well, their fourth quarter performance in 2024 certainly points to strong momentum. Their revenue jumped to $637 million.
Wow.
37% increase year over year.
Okay.
And even more impressive, they swung from a net loss the previous year to a net income of $150 million in Q4 2024.
Those are some compelling numbers.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's fueling this financial success?
Okay.
Is it just new users?
Well, new users are part of it. They added 1 million customers over the year.
Wow.
Bringing their total to 24.3 million by the end of 2024.
Okay.
But it's not just about quantity, it's also how much revenue they're generating from each user.
And I think that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
Motley Fool highlights a couple of new initiatives that Robinhood is pursuing.
Really?
Let's start with their expansion into futures trading.
All right. This is strategic.
Oh.
It allows them to tap into a new market of investors who are looking for potentially higher returns.
Okay.
Albeit with higher risk, obviously.
Right.
They're now offering futures trading not only for crypto, but also for oil, gold, and major equity indexes.
So it sounds like they're kind of aiming to become a one-stop shop for investors with diverse interests and risk appetites.
Exactly.
But what really caught my eye was their venture into the world of prediction markets.
Interesting.
What exactly are those?
So imagine being able to place bets not on horses or cards, but on the outcome of real-world events.
Okay.
That's essentially what prediction markets allow you to do.
Okay.
It's a way to leverage collective wisdom.
Okay.
To forecast things like election results, economic data releases, or even the winner of a sporting event.
So you're not just investing in companies, you're kind of betting on the future itself.
Exactly.
It sounds risky.
Yeah.
But potentially very lucrative if you can predict those outcomes correctly.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's a bold move for Robinhood to enter this space.
It definitely adds a layer of intrigue.
Yeah.
And could attract a whole new segment of users who are interested in this type of speculative trading. It also raises some questions about how Robinhood will manage the risks associated with this type of activity.
It's a gamble, but one that could pay off big if they play their cards right.
For sure.
But before we get too carried away, let's bring it back to the present.
Okay.
What are analysts projecting for Robinhood's revenue in 2025?
Well, the consensus estimate is that they'll bring in over $2.8 billion in revenue in 2025.
Okay.
Which would be a 17% increase from the previous year.
That's significant growth, even for a company on a tear like Robinhood.
It is.
But given their expansion into these new areas, those projections might be a bit conservative, don't you think?
You raise a valid point.
Yeah.
The futures trading and prediction markets could generate more revenue than analysts are currently anticipating.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how these new ventures impact their bottom line in the coming quarters.
So Robinhood is certainly shaking things up.
Definitely.
But how does their disruptive approach compare to a giant like Meta, which is still managing to grow despite its massive size?
Yeah.
Let's dive into that next.
Welcome back.
Yeah, we've laid the groundwork, explored the market context, and gotten a taste of what makes Robinhood and Meta so intriguing.
Uh-huh.
Now, let's dig a little deeper into some of the factors driving their success.
Okay.
Starting with Meta.
All right, let's unpack Meta's success.
Okay.
At its core, it's about their reach.
Okay.
With over 3.4 billion daily active users.
Wow.
Across platforms like Facebook and Instagram and WhatsApp, they have a direct line to a massive portion of the population.
It's almost like a captive audience for advertisers.
Yeah.
Which explains why advertising makes up nearly 97% of their revenue.
Yeah, but it's not just about numbers.
Right.
Their algorithms allow advertisers to really target.
Okay.
Based on demographics, interests, and online behavior.
Right.
So this makes their campaigns really effective, driving strong returns and more revenue.
It's a powerful cycle. But what about the metaverse?
The metaverse?
Yeah.
Well, it's still early
to
see the impact on their growth.
Okay.
But they are investing heavily in it, signaling a long-term vision.
Right.
They're betting that the metaverse will be the next platform. And if right, it could unlock new revenue and growth.
Yeah. It's a risky bet, but one that could pay off.
Huge, if they're right.
For sure. Now let's go back to Robinhood.
Okay.
I mean, their rise is captivating, but is it hype or is there substance behind it?
Well, they've tapped into a powerful trend.
Okay.
The democratization of investing.
Okay.
Stripping away the barriers. They kept everyday people out.
Right.
They've made it accessible, affordable, and user-friendly.
Yeah, it's like they've opened the doors to a world that was exclusive before.
Exactly.
Right.
Their platform, low fees, and diverse options have resonated with younger investors.
Who are maybe more comfortable with technology.
Right, exactly.
Right.
And eager to take control of their financial futures.
But with this expansion into more complex and risky areas, futures trading, prediction markets, is there a danger that they're attracting investors who might not understand the risks?
Well, that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
As they expand.
Yeah.
Educating their user base about these instruments is going to be crucial.
Yeah. So they need to find a balance between making investing accessible and making sure that investors are making informed decisions.
Absolutely.
Now, no investment is without risk.
That's right.
So what are some potential challenges that investors should be aware of?
Well, for Robinhood,
okay,
one of the biggest challenges is competition.
Okay.
The brokerage industry is so competitive to maintain their edge.
Okay.
They're going to need to constantly innovate, differentiate their offerings, and provide exceptional service.
And with their move into these prediction markets, I mean, I imagine there's going to be some regulatory scrutiny there.
Oh, absolutely. Regulators are likely to keep an eye on this new territory.
Yeah.
Any changes could significantly impact their operations.
And I imagine regulatory hurdles are nothing new for Meta.
You're right.
Right.
They face their own set of challenges.
Okay.
Many stemming from their size and influence, data privacy, content moderation, antitrust concerns.
Yeah.
These all continue to be problems.
They've been under fire for their handling of user data. And regulators are scrutinizing their dominance.
Yeah.
I mean, these are weighty issues. Yeah. Not just for Meta, but for the whole tech industry.
Absolutely.
So how is Meta addressing these concerns?
Well, they're investing heavily in data security and privacy.
Okay.
They're working to improve their content moderation. And they're engaging with regulators to address these antitrust concerns.
But these are complex issues. And it remains to be seen how they'll navigate these challenges.
That's right.
So Robinhood and Meta are operating in a constantly shifting landscape where innovation, agility, and adaptability are essential.
They're essential.
Right.
Especially in tech. They need to be nimble, responsive to changing dynamics and preferences and regulations.
It's a high-stakes environment.
It is high stakes, high reward.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
We've explored their growth, the potential headwinds. Yeah. But what does all this mean for our listener? How can they use this information to make informed decisions?
Well, that's where careful research comes in.
Okay.
And a long-term perspective.
Okay.
Remember, investing in these growth stocks, it's not about quick flips.
Okay.
It's about identifying companies with solid fundamentals, growth potential, a vision for the future, and aligning that with your risk tolerance.
And financial goals.
That's exactly.
Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. So let's transition to the broader implications of investing in growth stocks, where we'll discuss diversification.
My favorite word.
Risk management.
Yeah.
And a long-term mindset.
Sounds good.
Welcome back to the deep dive.
We've been talking about these growth stories of Robinhood Markets and Meta Platforms.
Yeah, two companies with some real potential.
Yeah, real game changers.
We've explored their models, their successes, and, the potential pitfalls they might encounter. So let's zoom out and talk about how these individual stocks kind of fit into the bigger picture of your investment strategy.
Sounds good.
So let's say you're intrigued by Robinhood's approach.
Yeah.
Or impressed by Meta's dominance. What's the next step?
Well,
do you just throw all your money in and hope for the best?
I mean, that's where diversification comes in.
You always say that word.
It's important, though.
I know.
It's the cornerstone of a good strategy.
Okay.
Think of it like this. You wouldn't put all your eggs in one basket, right?
Right.
Same with investing.
So how does that work in practice?
It means spreading your investments.
Oh, okay.
Across different asset classes, sectors, and regions.
Okay.
Don't bet everything on one stock.
Okay.
Even one that seems as promising as Robinhood or Meta.
Right.
You create a portfolio that can handle the ups and downs.
So if one stock takes a hit, the others help cushion the blow.
Exactly. It helps mitigate risk.
And that's important when you're talking about these growth stocks.
Yeah, especially with growth stocks.
Which tend to be a little more volatile.
Yeah. For sure.
So even though we're talking about this high growth potential, you're still urging caution.
Well, growth stocks can be valuable.
Yeah.
But they shouldn't be the only thing in your portfolio.
Right.
That brings us to risk management.
Okay, let's talk about risk.
Okay.
How can our listener assess that risk with these stocks?
You have to understand your own risk tolerance.
Okay.
How much are you comfortable with?
Right.
What are your goals? What's your time horizon?
Okay.
Like a younger investor might be more willing to take some risks for those higher returns.
Right.
While someone closer to retirement might be more conservative.
Right. Exactly.
Once you have that understanding, you can start building a portfolio that you're comfortable with.
So self-awareness is key.
Yes.
Knowing your goals, your time horizon, how much risk you can stomach.
Exactly.
And with these growth stocks, they come with more risk.
Compared to more established companies.
So how do you balance chasing growth and managing that risk?
A long-term perspective.
Okay.
This isn't about quick wins.
Right.
It's about finding those companies with that potential.
Right.
The companies that will keep innovating, adapting, creating value over time.
It's about believing in those fundamentals.
Exactly. And having the patience to just stick with it.
This isn't a get-rich-quick scheme.
Nope.
Right? It's about making smart choices.
Yeah, informed decisions.
So as we wrap up,
here's
a thought.
Yeah.
Considering everything,
the
market, the growth, the risks, which of these companies would you explore further?
That's a great question.
It all comes down to your own assessment.
Yeah. Do your research.
Weigh the rewards against the risks.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to ask for some guidance.
Yeah, a financial advisor can really help.
Excellent advice. Well, that brings our deep dive to a close.
Hope you got something out of it.
Yeah, some valuable insights into these growth stocks.
Yeah, and the dynamics of investing.
Until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep diving deep.
See you next time.